then we'd be twins.
Yeah, right. I know. I just got this little patch going on here. It's the only thing saving my receding hairline.
I call that the Phil Collins, man.
Yeah.
I had that. Soon. I had that back in 10th grade.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Dude, but you were a big hat guy, right?
Well, couldn't wear hats in school.
Well, no, I know that, but in general, if you weren't in school, did you wear a hat a bunch?
Yeah, I wore hats a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom, Chris Rodriguez. I wear hats about as much as Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah, she better be careful. She may lose her hair. I remember my mom
say that, right?
They did, right? I'd put it on backwards, and I do this with my hair, put it on backwards, do the whole thing, and like, you're gonna lose your hair. Well, I got that to show for it, and you got that.
Clean, baby.
Hey,
all right. Tass. Hey, Kling. What's up? So topic today is what you need to know about the back to school season. And I was like,
oh, so boring.
I mean, we'll be lucky if we get 13 people watching this one.
That's right. That's all right. Then you and I can just banter.
All right. Mr. Munding, how are you? These guys always make fun of me because my titles are usually really long. Really long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because what I wanted to do was talk about the dangers of the back to school season in our industry. So there's a spin, Tass.
I don't know if that's any longer than the title we have. But...
Well, I think it was longer, but that was the gist. I don't remember what it was. Hey, hello, everybody. Hello, sir. Mr. Sheffield, Miss Angelieri, Mr. Johnson. Good to see you guys. Well, anyway, just recapping, everybody. We're talking about what you need to know for the back to school season. But see, there's the hook. See, Mr. Johnson knows what are the dangers that you need to know of the back to school season. And by the way, there are dangers in our industry. That's what I think I put. The dangers you need to know in our industry during the back to school season. There's things we need to know because you all experience it. But we're going to wait a minute till you phone your friends.
That's not like you. You're usually like pretty just short, 4 bullet points. As a matter of fact, the other day I was talking to Phoenix and she's like, what is with the 4s? She said, she's like, I can't keep them all straight. There's the 4-step enrollment process, the 4-step perfect intro, the 4 steps of selling. I said, well, I guess you just need to study more.
But you've what did you do? You just came up with just recently in the last few months. Did you come up with 4 steps or 7 steps or I don't know? You came up with something, and I was like, I can do it in 4.
Yeah, maybe. All right, I'm gonna start doing everything in 3, and then we'll go to 2, and then we'll just make it 1 step.
All right.
They do say that the most successful people can make complicated things simple. So 4 steps is simple.
Who says that?
Who's they? I don't know. I have to. I don't even know how to give credit to.
Well, tell them thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So let's talk about it, guys. If you want to know about, that's
right, Mr. Sheffield. Just execute. That's it. Just execute.
That's it. Step 1. And that's the last step. So let's talk about the back to school season. And by the way, for those of you just jumping on, this is whether or not you work with kids or adults. Kids or adults.
And whether or not you've started school or not yet, right?
Right. All of you've either started school or school's going to be starting in your area. So number 1. But you know what I was thinking about today before we dive into this? Because this, I think, is relevant. I guess there's some people, but it's not. So let me say the statement, and then people may have an argument on this. But I've never met anybody that regretted making too much money. I've never met someone that said, man, I just wish I didn't make that much money. I know people that have regretted what they've done once they've made a lot of money, and then they may tie it into it was because they made money. But if you are disciplined, listen, if you had a choice, if we were taking a test right now, if we were taking a quiz, and the quiz said, pick one, would you like to make a ton of money or not have much money? Circle one. Which one are you going to circle? Tass?
I don't know. I mean, how many people played the $1 billion lottery not that long ago? I mean, clearly people want money.
Everybody that says they don't need money.
Right.
So anyway, and by the way, I may be the only guy who didn't play it.
I
don't understand why people play it when it's $1 billion and they don't play it when it's 40 million.
Right.
But anyway, so listen, this is to our industry again. For those of you, and again, I think we have an audience, Task, that I think most of you watching this don't represent the majority of our martial arts industry, but there is a big majority of our industry that looks at making money in our industry as somehow a negative or somehow affects the tradition or their teaching style or the quality of their students. And we don't know what we don't know, and we need to get that out of our heads. And it goes back to, I never met anybody that regrets saying, man, I wish I didn't make so much money. I just haven't heard that statement from people. So with that, we're talking about the back to school season and specifically the dangers. But before we do, Task, without going into a seminar, because that's what these people got to pay us for. You know what I'm saying?
We can make all the money. We don't.
Why don't you give the free version?
Okay, perfect.
Of what everybody needs to be really aware of right now going into the back to school season, and then I'll talk about the dangers.
Free version. Got it. Okay.
Free version's on the bottom. It's on the bottom.
Okay, got it. Fine print. So I'm sorry, I was messing around. The free version of what they need to know going into back to school?
Yeah, what are some of the things we really need to be on top of right now for the back to school season?
All right. Well,
pros. Let's just talk specifically recruiting. Because I think if I let you go, you're going to hit some of the dangers inadvertently. So let's just talk about recruiting.
All right. Listen, you said it. Whether you're an adult school or whether you're kids, right? Because some of you are going to click off and go do other things. We're big on being partners in education in the elementary schools, right? And why is that? Well, for a large majority of people, that's where their core or their target market is, right? A lot of us teach kids. However, not all of us teach kids, but a lot of us have kids programs. But you also have to remember that there's adults and there's faculty in those schools as well. So the reason why it's important to establish a relationship, or once you've established it, not take it for granted and maintain that relationship, is because you're where your target audience is. And that's a great place to be. If I said, well, look, we're going to run an event this weekend and we're going to do a booth event as an example, and we're going to set up in front of Walmart. I'm just throwing it out there. We're going to set up a table out in front of Walmart. Or we can set up a table at the elementary school where there's 700 kids. Where would you rather be? Well, I don't know who's coming to Walmart. I don't know how many parents are bringing their kids, or how many of those people are parents of 6 to 12-year-old kids, as an example, right? So that's why we established the relationship with the elementary schools. And I think not only establishing, and some people are maybe afraid of establishing that relationship. Some people have maybe tried in the past and you've been turned down. So we've got bitter feelings, or we're afraid to go back in and try and, to start that relationship for whatever reason. But you got to do it. I was having a conversation with the team yesterday, I believe it was. And, the question is, one of the things that we do this time of year is we go back and we maintain the relationships with the school system. And we do that by giving, right? And part of the things that we do are we go there with a partner education packet with all the things that we can do for that elementary school, whether that's being crossing guard for a day, being a reader, teaching PE classes, doing a fundraiser program, providing a faculty breakfast, doing a back to school supply drive. You may want to rewind later and go back slowly because there's a lot there, right? But those are all give, 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 give. And that's how we start a relationship, or that's how we maintain that relationship. And so one of the questions that my team asked me is, well, can we call the schools that we have a relationship with and just see if we can get in for Meet the Teacher that way? Now, look, I don't care how they get the job done, but if we want to think past just making a phone call to somebody, and I understand that it doesn't take as much time, potentially, we can get it done over the phone, and that's great. But if you're truly in this for the long haul, you should be going to the schools, getting FaceTime with whoever that point person is, whether that's the principal, the assistant principal, or the PTA or PTO, president, getting FaceTime with those people, because that goes a long way. So, that's like number one for us, is getting in front of our target audience. And then how do we recruit? Well, there's lots of different ways to do that, right? But, well, I won't give you the biggest mistake. We'll talk about that. But the way in which you just heard me say this is, we go in with the intent of being a partner education, find out what they need and how can we help. And in return for that, at some point, even through continuing to give, we actually get what we want. And you maybe remember who said this. I don't know if this was Jim Rohn or I don't know who it was, but Jay Abraham, give enough people what they want and you'll get what you want in return, right? Just go find more you want. Zig Ziglar, there you go. So that's what we do. And whether school has started for you and you say, well, it's too late, I'm going to tune out, right? Well, it's never too late to start a relationship, right? It's never too late. So you need to have FaceTime, and you need to be like feet to the street, boots on the ground, and going into these schools. And sometimes people just don't know the approach, right? So the approach would be, go into the school system with your partner education packet, and just, you walk in the school. Well, we can't walk in. We got to buzz in. So do we. So do we. And so it's the same thing, but I'm going to walk in and say, hey, I'm Shane Tassoul with Championship Martial Arts. We're your neighbor. We actually have a lot of students in common. And look, I just want to stop in. Who would I talk to in regards to donating school supplies, providing a faculty breakfast, and maybe raising some funds for the school? Who would that be? And find out who that person is, and then get in front of that person, right? And that's ultimately what you want. I'm being mindful not to go through the mistakes of like what you shouldn't do with the partner education packet, but those are the things that you want to do to start to create the relationship. I don't care if you've tried 100 times. The principles change, policies change. We've been through this thing called COVID. Now schools may be more in need of things than ever before. We just don't know what's changed or who's there or what the culture is. And so if you were going to try to date a girl and you like, oh my God, I want to marry this girl. And if you ask her out and she turns you down, all you martial artists that have all the confidence in the world, like, what do we just say? Oh, she turned me down, man. Yeah, I'm not going to ask her again. Or you ask 2 or 3 times and you get turned down. Like, I'll never forget the health club that I worked at, the owner of the health club. He's like, do you realize, and he wasn't saying this to me, he was just saying this in general, but do you realize that a man really could get any woman that he wanted to if he just paid attention to her and if he just did all the right things? And his argument for that was this, is there's going to be a time when the female is frustrated or she's feeling sad or this or whatever. And then she's going to think about all the times that you've been there and you've been saying nice things and building confidence, and you're going to be top of mind awareness. I thought it was really interesting, right? So not talking about using this for dates, but I'm giving you the example is if you think it's important, and it is extremely important in our business to be in front of our target market. And it's one of the easiest places for us to get to. We need to continue to try and open that door and realize whether they're an administration, principal, assistant principal, at the end of the day, they're human beings. That's it. And human beings all respond the same. So you have to find the right mechanism to be able to use to make them feel important, give them what they need, show that you're providing them value, as opposed to what a lot of people do, right? Which is going to ask for something. Show them you show value and get in front of your target market. that's in a nutshell. That's one of the things that we need to be doing. And that will turn into mass intros. It will turn into referrals. It will return into, we had this gob of new students come in because seasons change and routines change and people are looking for something to do with their kids. And now they come in and now you have 10, 20, 50, 80 new white belts. And then you throw a white belt buddy bash and they all get to bring a friend or two with them. And now you use that as a recruiting event for those buddies. I mean, everything parlays, but there's only one opportunity a year, you know, marketing and recruitment, one time a year. And if you let that window go by, you're missing out. So I would encourage everybody to really try and, you know, develop those relationships.
All right, I want to ask this question, everybody, because I'm going to give you guys some nuggets that you can immediately execute and understand and implement. Because what he was saying is you absolutely, and I was waiting for this text to come through. I just asked my directors. First of all, let me ask everybody on here. How many of you plan on doing some type of mass enrollment for the back to school season? Some kind of mass event at your school where you want to try to enroll a big number of people. How many of you have that on your plans for the back to school season? Just say yes.
By the way, yeah, or I have no idea what a mass enrollment is. I'd be curious if that's the case as well. And that's okay too, right? Just because we don't want to be throwing things out there, assuming that you may know what that is, right? That's our go-to, but you don't.
Now I see. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Monday next Saturday, Mr. Ham, definitely. Now look, there's 16,548 people watching this right now live. So I would expect that we get a lot of responses. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It's 31 people. 31. Hey, so while you're putting that in, right? I just asked my guys, I said, just so you could see, we're very transparent. One of the things Tass likes about or liked about us. Gents, I'm live right now. You know, can you give me an estimate of how many people we have signed up for mass intros this week? Now, some of our schools had a meet the teacher last week. A lot of the schools had it this week. You want to know their response. This is why it's so important for all of you. Their response is 118 plus 101 plus 105 plus 100 plus 61 plus 18 plus 15, 518 total have signed up to come to a mass intro this.
I was going to give you the total, dude. I was Rain Manning that. I was going to just.
Oh, nice. And by the way, he said,
it's blurry.
Not all confirmed yet. So I want to let you know that they have 518 calls and confirmations they got to do. But we have an opportunity just this week, an opportunity to sign up 518 people. Now, I will tell you, here's what I would suspect. Worst case scenario. Out of the 518 people, 250 will show up. I'm going to just cut it in half. 250 will show up. How many will enroll this weekend, Tass?
Well, if you're going to give them the old number, it's 125. If you're going to give them the real number, it's closer to 175.
Right. And I'm going to give them the old number and just take the worst case scenario. So I would expect this weekend that we have over 100 new students on one-year programs enrolling this Saturday, right? This is why you guys got to be on top of your back to school season. You got to be on top of this. Not to mention, that's just going to be this Saturday. But I will tell you, and you guys can ask us at the end of the month when we come on the Metzger Tassoul Show in October, hey, Metzger, how many enrollments did your schools get for the month of August? That's going to be different because there's going to be a ton of follow-ups. But here's the deal. Let me tell you how you can capitalize on this stuff. Number one, let's talk about dangers. Let's talk about getting into the schools if you want to get in the schools. I asked our accountant, Miss Paula, our in-house accountant, I said, how much money have we donated so far to the public schools this year, so far? I got my number right here. You probably can't see it. She wrote it down. $7,878.50 we've donated so far. I said, that's not good enough. We got to donate more to the schools. But with COVID and some restrictions, it's been slow going as far as doing programs, raising money for them on their end, not ours. We seem to be back to normal. I said, I want to make sure that we get at least $15,000 to $20,000 before the end of the year that we donate to the public schools. Why? Because then I want to get the big check. I'm going to meet with the superintendent, and I want to have a picture with the superintendent about how much revenue we've donated to the Orange County public school system. Tassoul said it earlier. If you want to get in your schools, you walk in and say, hey, we'd like to raise money for you guys. We appreciate what you do as educators. Who would I talk to about donating money or school supplies? That's going to get you in the door. You're not asking, who do I talk to about passing out flyers? Who do I talk to about doing a program here? Who do I talk to about donating money or supplies? So that is your avenue. And that's a whole seminar in itself, but that's the concept. Do that just to get the communication going. Now, the next thing you have to do, one of the things that we teach all of our people in the My Elite program, and here's where other consultants may do a video and put spin on this saying, why would you do that? That stuff doesn't work. Well, it's because they don't know why we do it and how we do it. But it's easy to spin it because if somebody, for example, if somebody says, don't listen to consultants that tell you to do a referral program because referral programs just don't work. What you guys will do is believe them, because you'll say to yourself, he's exactly right. We've done referral programs our whole life. They never work. So now you'll start getting the spin and getting the brainwashing. And now you think everything that comes out of his or her mouth or consultant or whoever, even me or Tassoul, you'll start believing it. But the truth is that they do work. You're just not doing it right. Okay. But we're not talking about referral programs. What we're talking about is having a back to school party. Now, why is a back to school party so important? Here's the dangers of the back to school season. We lose, you've heard me say this a lot if you guys watch this show, but, and Ernie said he'll get it to 20K by December. Thank you, Ernie. I just love when you spend our money. Appreciate it. Here's the deal. You lose your students. We lose students more 3 times a year than any other time of year. Retention issues. We lose more students going into summer, coming out of summer, which is the back to school time, and over the holidays into the new year. Those are the 3 times where you typically lose more students than any other times of the year. So then you have to ask yourself, well, why? Why do we lose students? Well, those 3 times of year are what I call transition times. We as human beings and people like to be in a routine. When we have a routine, things are always easier. Kids are in school. I know when they go to school. I know when they get out of school. I know the days they have karate, and we have dinner, we do homework, we go to bed. And it's a routine the whole school year. But when school's out, routines get messed up. I got to find summer activities for my child, summer camp. We're traveling, we're doing vacations. And so your retention goes down, attrition rate goes up. You lose some students in the summer. However, there are some students that you don't lose. Now, pay attention to this now. The students you don't lose are the students who are consistently training in the summer. Well, those are the students that you need to worry about as we transition out of summer, okay? Because when we hit the back to school time, those students that never missed a beat that were with you, they're going to get all the fall activity flyers, Little League signing up, soccer, baseball, this, that. And they're the ones who are going to be like, you know what, I want to try something different. Mom, can I sign up for baseball or for Little League or for this or that? And we lose students. The danger of the back to school time is this. We enroll so many students during the back to school time, it disguises all of the students that we lose. And you don't notice it as much if you're not keeping track of your stats. Now let's talk about that back to school party. So why do we have a back to school? I want to keep students that were coming all summer about this back to school party that we're going to have 2 or 3 weeks after school starts. Why? I want them to get into their routine again. And we're going to build up this back to school party. We're going to have demos. We're going to have prize giveaways. We're going to have pizza. We're going to have games. all summer long, they've been earning tickets to win these prizes that I have on display. So I want to try to keep them and get them through this transition time and have something to look forward to get them through that time. But all the students that have been gone for summer, like you're going to sit here and you're going to say, well, I know so-and-so's been on vacation. They'll be back. They said they'll be back. They're traveling for the summer. They're out. They went to visit their grandma, whatever. The problem is they still got out of their routine. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pick up the phone, hopefully, and you're going to call them and say, Johnny or Sarah, look, how was your vacation? Well, we're excited to see you soon in class. You going to be in class next week or this week? Yes. Well, they don't show up. They don't show up for class. So then you call them again. Hey, Sarah, I thought you said you'd be in class. We missed you. You going to make it to class? Yes, sir. I'll be there. Or the parents are saying, yeah, we're trying. And they don't show up for class. Now you're going to call and say, from the first time, we're so excited. Listen, Sarah, do you know about our big back to school party we're doing? Do you have any friends you want to bring? We're going to have pizza. We're going to have demos. We're going to have giveaways and prizes. It's another way to get people that have been out of my school back in my school without just inviting them to come back to class, which they're out of the routine of, and they're lazy and they don't want to. We need something. We need the dangling carrot to get them a reason to come back into our building. Once we get them back in, we can reignite their fire for martial arts. Here's a case in point. My daughter Kylie, if you guys were at the Super Show, you saw her working over at the Cage Fitness booth and stealing samples from all the other booths, I think. I mean, if you guys need any trinkets, call me. We got everything. But anyway, she has been out of karate, most of the martial arts, for most of the summer, very inconsistent. So yesterday, and she's a teenager, she's 13, she'll be 14 in October. Yesterday, I said to her, as soon as she got home from school, I called her and I said, hey, we're leaving at 8:00 at night because her class starts at 8:20. And yes, you should have classes starting late. But I said, hey, we're leaving at 8 tonight for karate. She goes, thanks for ruining my day. That was her response. She's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do karate. I said, hey, you've quit 3 times. I told you the 3rd time, once you decide to join again, we're not quitting. So it's not even a discussion anymore. We're doing it. And then, by the way, Tass, I'll tell you in the industry, she goes, well, I love how you lied to everybody at the Super Show when you spoke. I said, what? She goes, well, you tell people that there's a difference between forcing and motivating, and you force your daughter. She goes, you don't motivate me, you force. I said, sweetheart, I motivated you the first 2 times. Then you begged me to join karate again. And I kept saying no, I said, because once you join, you're not quitting. I said, there is no more motivating. You decided to do it. You're being forced.
That's hilarious. So
anyway, she goes to class last night. I go in the office to talk with the manager of the school in there. And we're talking and Kylie comes in with her friend because she does it with her friend. And she's like, why do you make me come here? I just don't have the passion for this anymore. I don't want to do this. I said, sweetheart, you're doing this till you're a 5th degree black belt. And in our system, that takes 2 years. So I said, you got at least 2 more years. I'm just riling up the crowd. So anyway,
they're on their toes.
She's been doing this since she was 3, by the way. And she's like a blue red belt because I'm very strict on the belts. It's 10 years. She's a blue red belt. But anyway, she takes class. She comes back in the office after class and says, that was actually really fun. And Dana, who happens to be the manager, says, Kylie, it seems like every time your dad brings you, you always talk about why. And after every class, you say how fun it was and how great it was. She's like, yeah, I know. My point is it's routine. I got to get her consistent again, and then we will be in the routine. So you all need to understand the concept of you got to capitalize on the market because here's the deal. School is starting. Summer activities are done. Parents out there they want to keep their kids busy. They're going to pick something. They're going to pick baseball, soccer, basketball, whatever it is, or martial arts. You've got to be in front of your community heavy right now. So you are an option for these people and capitalize on the fact that they're all going to want to do something for their kids. As I told you from the text, we have 518 parents that signed up this week to come to our our free community event this Saturday at our martial arts school. You got to do that. Number two, you cannot forget about retaining the students that have been with you. You got to stay focused on that. And you have to give them a reason to be excited. And a reason is not just the same classes that they've been doing all summer. You've got to have, for example, a back to school party. If you work with adults, you got to have a social. We're doing a big fall social. We're going to get all the adults together. We're going to have snacks and cheese and crackers and whatever. I mean, and we're just going to hang out. All the instructors will be here to answer questions and talk. We're going to have a great time. You need something that's going to get them engaged and back into their routine. Tass?
You know, as you're on your rants, I wasn't really paying attention, but I think I heard you say, you know, the difference. Yeah, Hugh. The difference is this. Kylie has somebody to not motivate, but force her to go back to class. You're in the corner of the school because you're like, okay, you need to go back and do this. Question would be, how many parents actually take that approach? Now, there may be some, we don't know how many, but how many parents, if we go back and we didn't do our job in April and May and look at anyone that was expiring over the course of summer or the first part of fall and get them renewed, and now a child says they don't want to go back to class and their program is expiring in September, as an example, the parent goes, oh, you know what? We're done in September anyways. I don't have to drive her anymore. You know what? Okay, that's fine. And they tap out. They give up, right? So you being the martial arts school have to help. And there's another thing I want to say about this, but you have to help to give the parents some ammunition as well and a reason to bring the kids back, which in this case is a back to school party because everyone loves parties, right? So that's another reason for doing that party is to align yourself with that parent and have that parent have a reason to bring those kids back and hopefully make it exciting. The other thing is, as you're talking, I get inspired when I hear things like what you just said, right? About she's done it, she's quit 2 times, she didn't want to go back. She's like, why do you drag me? You're forcing me. And then she takes class and she has a good time. We all have families that have done that. And, you know, you guys could do the same thing. You guys could do a little Zoom and record it or something live where you're interviewing a parent and you're talking to the parent and saying, hey, look, you know, you guys have been with us for a long time. I remember, you know, when Johnny wanted to quit. And tell me about that. What first of all, what was the reason for getting him started? Well, what were the results? Did he ever want to quit? Yeah, he wanted to quit. And then we can go through and we can give examples of people that have been there before and how they've overcome it and what the parents did to help them overcome it. And now you're social proofing what you're saying and announcing in classes. I think it'd be a great idea. You have to have the right parent to do this. Or if you just want to talk back and forth as instructors, but give some of these challenges and these questions and how do people overcome them? Because it's like, it's so hard when I watch like Top Gun, if I watch a Rocky movie, right? Anything, you just want to go train. You get emotional. And so if you can create that emotion in your student base or with your parents to get them excited, it may mean the difference of somebody coming back versus not coming back. And I think, you know, we have to pull out all the stops right now. And again, you said this earlier, I had the same conversation with my team yesterday, here's your roster and here's your active. There's a gap between the roster and how many people are actually been coming to class. I don't care if you know that Susie Smith is starting back on September 5th, as an example. I don't care. And you know they're on vacation. You pick up the phone, you call them, you text them, and let them know, hey, I know you guys are on vacation. I hope you guys are having a great time. And by the way, I just want to drop you a quick line and let you know how much we miss Susie in class, whatever it is. And please travel safe. And I look forward to you guys coming back to class, you know, when you get back from vacation. Let people know that you care. Just because someone told you they were going to be on vacation for a month or 2 months or 3 months doesn't mean you shouldn't service them, doesn't mean you shouldn't call them, doesn't mean you shouldn't care. And I've been on a rant about this where I say, a lot of us don't have money problems in our school. We have relationship problems. And if you have a better relationship with your people, and you actually like care, and not saying that you don't care, but when you don't call somebody for 2 or 3 months because you're like, they told me they're going to be gone, they'll be back. That's just taking for granted that they're going to be back, and we're not talking to them, right? So I think those are some important things. Number one, making sure anybody who has not been in your school in the last 10 days and further, you got to reach out to them regardless. Every single person, regardless if you know their status or not. If you know their status, call it out. And number next is you got to make sure that you're giving people, like you said, with the back to school party, give them a really good reason to come back, where it's not necessarily coming back to a class, but they're coming back to do something that's exciting.
An event. Yeah, coming back to some type of event. And by the way, if you work with adults, this is an unbelievable opportunity to get into all of the public schools and offer a fitness self-defense team building seminar free for all administrators, teachers, faculty, and staff members of the schools. And you could book them out every weekend for the next 4 or 5 weeks, depending on how many schools you have in your area and how many teachers want to do that. So again, just give. And by the way, this is not a bait and switch. You're giving because somebody's going to come there and really have a great time taking a class with you, or a self-defense class, and then they may want to join. They may see the value in this. They may say, this is great. I didn't know it was like this. And they may enroll. And you chalk this up as marketing. That's why we do it free. It's like marketing. It's like marketing expense. So you can either market with your checkbook, or you can market with your time. And it's better if you can even do both, right? So
you can do both. And look, this is not a make or break deal, but if you guys want some nuggets, here's the deal. Like Jimmy John's, as an example, Jimmy John's will take subs and cut them in 2-inch strips, and they'll donate a bunch of subs to you. Pizza places will donate pizza. I mean, not that you're going to do coffee. We do this at the holiday event, but Starbucks will donate a 5-gallon thing of coffee. You can go get gift cards from Dunkin' Donuts and from different restaurants. Say, hey, we're doing a big community event, and we want to give away some prizes. We'd love to drive some business to you guys. Is there anything that you guys would be willing to donate, whether it's a gift card for $5 or $10 or whatever it is, or coupons, whatever? That'd be great. And now you don't have to, if you don't want to, you don't have to put a lot of money out of pocket either, because you have people in the community that are supporting you as well, right? Just, of course, make sure those go to the prizes and things like that. So those are some easy ways that you can do that. But sit down, get creative about what you can do to create an unbelievable event for your people, and just have fun. I mean, I think one of the big things that happened in our school after we got back from the Super Show, I had an instructor training, and we had our assistants and some of our leadership kids that were there as well. And I went around the room and I just said, hey, the last 2 weeks, give me some positive feedback as to what's been happening. And I think I started with a negative first. Give me some things, give me some critiques on some things that we can work on. But I also want a positive thing that you've seen. And without fail, we went around the room and everybody said, classes seem to be more fun. People seem to be smiling. They seem to really be enjoying the classes. Well, why is that? Because at the Super Show, our team went to some instructor trainings. They went to a couple of other physical events along with all of the business events as well. And they brought back fresh ideas and put them on the floor. And it's nothing that's earth-shattering, but it's different because we as instructors also get into routines and we do the same things over and over and over again. So by having a party like this and just, mixing it up, doing face painting, having some games, having maybe a bounce house, the pizza, whatever you want to do, right? But think about how you can do it, how you can just make it something that's enjoyable. And this becomes three things, really. It's a reactivation of your people that have been gone, which you could call retention. It's a retention event for your people that have been coming. And it also becomes a recruitment event. So you're hitting on all 3 R's, right? And that recruitment event turns into revenue, by the way. So it's retention, it's recruitment, it's revenue, it's all of those things. And by the way, you also, if you want to take it a step further, you can be doing specials that day for existing people that need to renew, or potentially if you do the taboo upgrade, right? You can give specials on upgrade programs if you want to do that as well. So you can make whatever you want out of this event, But I think a lot of people will make this simply a retention event. They make announcements in classes. The people that are coming, they're not the ones necessarily that we have to retain, right? Of course, we need to retain them, but that's all they're talking to are the people that are coming to classes. Those people show up. We don't let them know to bring friends. We don't go back to our people that have not been coming. And then it's a good event, right? Like, oh, it was a nice event, but we're not maximizing the results of that event. And that's why I think you have to take all three things into consideration. Reactivate your people that haven't been there. Hell, you could invite former students back to this event and bring those people back. You could invite previous former black belts that maybe quit and said, hey, we're doing something really cool, right? You know, we're putting out a uniform and we want all of our, former black belts to come. We want you guys to sign that uniform. Just something fun. And they may come back and be like, man, I just miss it so much. I really love to get back. Too many of us take an idea and we just take a sliver of the idea and we execute that sliver. And I've said this for a long time. Take the idea, but dive deep on it. And what are the things that we can do? And I'm not talking about making it hard or making it stressful or spending $1 bazillion, but getting creative on how do we maximize that one particular event. And there's some other ideas that you guys can do with your back to school, party or bash or whatever you call it.
So, and by the way, that's just a concept, right?
Yeah.
The back to school party. So anyway, here's the thing.
Matt,
the danger is.
Okay, I was going to say,
yeah.
you had talked a little bit about dangers as well, right? So let's give a couple dangers.
Well, here's the dangers. The dangers are the amount of people you're recruiting disguises the amount of people you're losing.
Right.
So a danger is not paying attention to your retention. Right. Okay, so that's danger number one. Danger number two, you don't capitalize on this small window of opportunity on recruiting. You drag your feet and it's over. When school starts, parents very quickly are going to get their kids enrolled in activities to keep them busy for the school year. So when you miss this window, you're going to miss a huge opportunity. There will be no other time during this year, no other time until next year, that we will have over 500 people signed up to come to a event at our school this weekend. There will be no other time. We'll have 40 people. We'll have 20 people. We will not have over 500 people. So danger number two is you just procrastinate, drag your feet, and then the window's shut. You lost it, right?
Right. Danger
number three, you don't understand the concept of having some type of event because you just assume the people who've been with you all summer, last school year, all summer, are going to still be with you in the fall and just keep going. Are there going to be a percentage of those people that stay? Of course. There's going to be a percentage of people that stay forever at your school. But you're going to lose a lot of people when they get bombarded and tempted to try other activities and things. Okay. So those I would say are the three biggest dangers. There's dangers in how you approach a school system if you want to get in and this, that, and the other. But the dangers of the back to school season is waiting on it, getting so many enrollments, it disguises the people you're losing, and not understanding during a transition time to have some type of event to keep your students excited and to get the ones who have been out back in. Those are the three. Do you have any others you want to hit?
Look, I'm going to give a concept as well, right? Let's just use an attrition rate, right? Which is the number of students that you're losing is typically 5%. Some of you are going to be like, we're 3, we're 2, that's fantastic, right? Some of you don't even know how to figure out attrition rate. And I don't mean to say that as a slam, but if you don't know, you don't know, right? And so let's just say on average, you have a 5% attrition rate and you happen to have 100 students, just as an example. That means you're losing 5 students every month. Well, over the course of summer and now, so going into summer and coming out of summer are what Metzger said, 2 of the times of the year we lose a lot of students. Well, what if our attrition goes up to 7, 8, 9, 10%? Well, here's a question that you need to ask yourself. And when you said this one time to me, and I was like, man, that is just a whole different way to think about it. So you have 10 people. Because of the time of year that we're in, our attrition naturally is going to go up. So we have to do everything that we can, the MIA calls, the back to school bash, to mitigate that risk of losing that additional attrition, those additional students. But if you're going to lose 10 people and you have 100, and now your attrition is going to go to 10% for maybe August and September, the question you have to ask yourself on the floor is, we're going to lose 2.5 people today, this week during classes, right? We're losing 2.5 people. Which 2.5 or which 2 or 3 people are we going to lose this week? Next week, all right, this week, who are we going to lose? Because we know it's coming. And if you think of it that way, I hope that motivates you to make sure that you're spending extra time with your students, communicating with them, talking with the parents, building rapport, reaching out on the phone, doing everything that we can possibly do to keep them, because that's a dangerous, dangerous scenario to be in. And by the way, that should be all year and all the time, right? You should absolutely be doing that. But when you put it to me that way, it was like, man, that just, the way you think about that is, oh, okay, well, 10% attrition is horrible. I get it. But when you think about what are the 3 students we're losing this week, and now you come to next week classes, who are we losing this week? Boy, that's an eye opener. And now you're putting faces with potential people that won't be there. Sometimes when we look at the numbers, they're just numbers, but those numbers represent people. And at the end of the day, this is why I say you have to have a better relationship with the people that you have, and don't let things go unnoticed by any means. You've got to make sure that people know. You guys have all heard it. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And this is the time of year that we got to show that love to everybody.
So you said it earlier, but here's one thing you should absolutely do. Summer's coming to an end. Call every single student you have, whether they've been coming to class or not, and say, how was your summer? By the way, I'm so happy you stuck with training over the summer. We're so excited about the fall. Here's the things we have coming up in the next month or so. And just say, I appreciate you training, and you have done an unbelievable job lately in class. Or if it's somebody that's been out, man, I remember right before summer break, you were doing unbelievable. I can't wait to see you back in class. Are you going to make it back in? Don't forget, we also have our big party coming up in 2 weeks. My point is make those calls, because he said it. These are people. It's not numbers. They're not numbers. It's people. So you want to make sure that you have a great rapport with every one of your customers, every one of your students. By the way, everybody, if you guys want, when's the date? Hey, chatties, when's the date? This is how prepared I am.
21st and 22nd for Game Changers.
That's it. Yep. October 21st and 22nd, we're doing the My Elite Game Changer Seminar in Orlando, Florida. And I will tell you this. It's interesting. We've been around for 20 years. Here's the deal. Friday night, we always take people out to dinner, and, we treat dinner, and we have a great time. And that's where you get to meet all the other, like-minded, school owners and elite clients and people that are just driven to success. So it's a Friday and Saturday, October 21st and 2nd. But one thing that I had a meeting with my team about is, when you come to one of our events, when we're working, we're working. We're not having fun. We're not partying. We're not, doing shows. We're working, and one of the things that I always wanted to make sure we do is give you things that you immediately can go back to your school on Monday, because we're on Friday and Saturday. Immediately go back Monday and execute and get a result within the next 2 weeks that you go back immediately. I don't want to give you concepts. I don't want to give you just motivation, where, by the way, that's important, but there's some events that you go to and you walk out of there and you feel like, oh my God, I am fired up. That was awesome. I am so motivated. All these different speakers, and I am just so motivated. And then Monday morning comes, you go in your school and you're like, what do I do with all this motivation? What do I do? Right. And that was normal for me, because I was that guy. I remember going to events, getting into my school fired up, and not knowing where to even start or what to do. So I made it a point that when we hold our events, and I think that shows in the success of all of our clients, that you're immediately going to go back and you're going to know exactly what to do. You're going to know exactly what to do. And the other thing is, I will tell you, we're going to have about, and by the way, for all the elite clients on here, this, but we never put it to you this way, but there's going to be about 25 hours of seminar blocks, right? Between 3 rooms going on, 5 hours the first day on Friday, another 4 hours or whatever on Saturday. So that's like 27 hours, but we'll have some general assemblies. But we have a lot of new people. We have we have, I don't know, over 300 people that are going to be there. And some people really need a refresher on this. Some people really need to send instructors to the instructor trainings. So you're going to pick. It's not that we're going to overload you with 25 hours. That would be impossible. So we're very aware of that as well. We're going to give you action steps. If you can make it, we'd love to see you in Orlando, Florida, October 21st and 2nd. And this is coming off the cuff because we never are prepared on this show because our intent for this show is just to try to give you some free advice. If it was our intent, I would have the link. I'd put the link up or have somebody put a link up. Oh, they just did? Who did?
I put it in the comments.
Oh, where is it? Oh, but it's not on the live. I don't see it live. So what happens is some of the team members hear the show and then they throw up the link, but I don't see it. But if you guys see it, click on it, read about it. Anyway, would love to see you in Orlando, guys. We're going to have a heck of a time. And we do have and Tass, you know this, we do have quite of a nice surprise of sorts, which I'm not even going to get into because I need all the elite and CMA people to hear it first. So,
some of you, I know it's early to think about this, but some of you may have seen or heard or have gotten the results of the holiday event that we do right in December. And you may be like, why are you talking about this right now? Well, the reason why I'm talking about this right now is really 2 reasons. Number one, what you do right now in this moment in back to school season will determine whether or not your holiday is successful or mega successful, right? That happens right now. So that's the reason, hopefully a call to action for you guys to go out and execute, right? And get these things done. Because if you haven't had the holiday event that you've wanted in the past, where you can generate tens of thousands of dollars in a 4-hour time period, you got to get on this now. And number next is, that is one of the things that we will be covering at the Game Changer event. And I know we've got a lot of veterans that'll be there as well that have been doing the holiday event, been doing 40, 50, 60, 100, $200,000 in these holiday events, and they've got it down. But there's also, like you said, a bunch of new people that maybe have never done a holiday event before. So this is why we have all the different tracks, but it's to help you and help you get to the next level. But I want to help prepare you guys today by saying, go get this stuff done, get over the fear. The worst thing that can happen is a principal says no and you can't do it and you go to another school and you get no, but you continue to give and you will get that relationship built. Because if you don't start now, you don't have the relationship now, and you're going to, well, I'll do it next year and I'll do it the next year. Pretty soon we keep putting it off and we just can't get traction. Keep after it, keep going after it, and you guys will get results.
Hey, I just got up before we got on this. I just got off the phone with somebody. And the question, I'm not going to mention who it was, but this is a person that's very successful and asked me this question. They asked me, do you feel that how much luck do you think played into your success? Do you think there's luck, right? And I said, no. And I've answered this differently before, but I said, I realize now it's the decisions that I made that aided in my success. So I'm lucky in a sense that I've made the right choices, but all my choices were this, and it's this simple. For those of you still with us, it's this simple. When you are faced with a decision to make, ask yourself, if I say yes, will this help me get closer to what I want out of life or hurt me? If the answer is yes, it will help me get closer to what my goals are, then you take action and you do it. And here's the sales pitch. Spend a Friday and Saturday, invest a plane ticket and one-night hotel, and come check out Game Changers. I know we put an ad out on Game Changers. I saw this ad because I'll just say, Mr. Klingenmeyer sent me a screenshot. Let me just show you guys. I hope,
dude.
I mean,
my daughter is the queen of tracking these things. And she's like, who said this? So
well, an idiot said this. I mean, and I
Yeah.
would tell this master, whoever it is, I mean, because it doesn't make any sense. So there was an ad for a Game Changers. I don't put out the ads. There it is.
There it is.
Right? Mr. Arsamon
Rip-off.
says, gonna be, what is it? Gonna be awesome. And then you have Mr. Stephen Kirkman who says, rip off. And then Mr. Klingenmeyer says, I'm sorry you feel that way. Have you ever had the chance to go to a My Elite event before? And the answer is no. I've never heard of Stephen Kirkman in my life. So I really just wanted to know who is such an idiot that they would say this. I said, look him up. Everybody, go look up Stephen Kirkman. Nothing against the guy. He just called it a ripoff. Well, I said, well, where does he teach? Well, he teaches at the Richie Valens Park and Recreation Center or something, right? I know I can help Mr. Kirkman. He's never come to a My Elite event, but he knows it's a ripoff. So, by the way, decisions and choices that you make in life. Why am I calling out Mr. Kirkman? Because he made it public. He's the one. He said it's a ripoff. What would you call somebody that says it's a ripoff when they've never even attended one of these events?
Right.
The nice people like the Kovars, right? Dave Kovar, he would say, oh, he's just misunderstood. Because I love Dave. I aspire to be like Dave. I call them an idiot. I'm not Dave Kovar, but I really wish I was more like Dave Kovar. He's one of my idols in the industry. I really have high respect for Mr. Kovar. So if you're watching this, I'm trying to be more like you. But
No,
man, when you deal with this stuff day in, you're right. I'm not trying to, but I wish I was more like him.
You're all about public reprimand and private praise.
Isn't that what he says?
I thought that's what it was.
Did I get it backwards?
Maybe it's backwards.
My point is this. Everybody is entitled to an opinion, but I am so passionate about helping this industry. Come to our event. If this gentleman comes to our event and then he says rip off, I would say, I'm really sorry you feel that way. And that would be it, because he came to the event. But don't start saying that when you've never even come. But my point is unfortunately, he represents a large portion of our industry. There's fear. You've been attacked so much by people trying to sell you garbage that anybody that's trying to get you to come to an event or try out their thing, a lot of people just assume it's garbage. And it's not all garbage, guys. You know this from any industry in the world. It's not all good. It's not all bad. I just like to say, come to the event. Do you know why I'm saying come to our event? By the way, if you don't like the event, I'll give you your money back. I think, how much is it, by the way? $199, $299, $299, right? Tass, how much is it? $299 for two people or something, or each? I don't even know what it costs. Doesn't matter what it costs. If you come to the event, you didn't think that it was going to help you multiply that by 10 times the investment, I'll give you the money back. And then I also will let you be entitled to your opinion without calling it out, because you're entitled to that. And we know we can't please everybody.
I'll bring it full circle.
Make the right decisions. Try it out.
I'll bring it full circle. We talked about the lottery. You can play the lottery and try and get lucky, or you can invest in education and make tenfold what you're making over the course of years, and actually go there and know that knowledge is forever, and make the investment. There's the let me go buy the lucky ticket, or there's let me go buy the plane ticket to the ticket to the event and take luck out of the equation and make the decision and put the tools that you need in your hands to be able to go out and make that on your own, as opposed to trying to get lucky to go win the lottery. I mean, it's, I'm amazed. I'll never forget, I was amazed when my dad would always say, well, what are you going to do for a real job? And then, I remember showing him my W-2s at one point. He's like, okay, fair enough. He goes, I get it. But the revenue that we can generate, and look, we're not all about the money, right? We have to deliver good service, but the revenue that we can help you generate in your schools is actually, it very much so is life-changing. It's been life-changing for all of our clients. And we can do the same if you come with an empty cup and you're willing to learn, right? And you're willing to execute.
And by the way, whether you do an extra $100,000 a month or an extra $2,000 a month, we don't take a percentage of anything. We are going to do everything we can to get you to maximize your growth in your school. And we're going to do it by getting to work, putting our head down and taking notes and having clear action steps. And when I ask all the elite clients, and Tass, you've been in the seminars. We've had 300 people in the room, and I said, how many of you have been here in the elite program for 5 years or more? And all these hands are going up. I'm like, 7 years or more, 10 years or more, 12 years or more. And do you remember what I said after that? Do you remember what I asked them?
Oh, yeah, yes. Why?
Yeah, I said, why? Why are you still here 12 years later? I said, what is it that you think you're going to learn? And you know what the universal answer is for every single person that's still in this program after 12 years? The accountability. They understand that they need someone in their corner that's going to kick them in the ass when they're not feeling motivated, that's going to remind them of the small details, that's going to be right there by their side to help them grow their school. And that was their answer, not mine. I mean, we all need that coach. And that's why they said they're still in the program. So it's not always about education. It's we got to be educators, motivators, and coaches all at once. But what they don't realize is how much I've grown from working with all of them. So I would encourage you to come to the event in October. Think about it. You have nothing to lose except a Friday and Saturday of your time, and maybe $1,000 by the time you pay a plane ticket, and one-night hotel, and $300 for the event. That $1,000 can turn into $100,000.
You'd have to have your eyes. You'd have to have your eyes closed and your ears plugged for the entire event, not to make back that investment.
Yeah, but Tass, they don't believe it because there are people on here that have been to events where they didn't make back their investment.
Right.
And then they just have opinions. But be smart, people. Be smart. You can bash anybody all you want as long as you've tried them out. That's it. So thank you. And God bless our industry.
God bless. All right.
Anyway, Tass, I got to get on to another meeting.
Okay. Well, you enjoy. Probably stacked up a little. Probably stacked up a little bit after being gone for a couple weeks.
It's been busy, man, and the days are flying. It's been busy for sure.
Yep.
But look, I love coming back to seeing 518 people are signed up to come in this week between Friday and Saturday. You know, multiple things. And by the way, everybody, just so you know, that's divided by 7 schools. We have 7 schools. So I just want everybody to know that. That's not one location, okay?
The last danger I'll give, and if you guys need help with this, you can reach out. 500, whatever the number is, he said 250 will show. Should enroll 125 people. If you caught it, he did say on 1-year programs. One of the other dangers that's out there is you guys are going to say, well, we did the same thing, but you put them on trials instead of putting them onto programs, right? So just be mindful of that. If you're not sure how to do that, you know, we can walk you guys through that as well. But that's, just to be clear, that's 1-year programs, not on trials. And there's big, big mistakes when you do that and you put people on trials. We've done it both ways. We know the results. So if you guys need help, we're here for you guys. Happy to help you guys out.
Good luck, guys. We will see everyone next week. Our next controversial topic.
Yeah, it'll be 16 sentences long.
All right, guys.
All right.
Take it.